Hi, this is Jilly Bling. I have a project and it has a kind of fancy twist to it. First of all, when you see this, isn't that just a beautiful flower? But are you thinking, wait a minute, you colored with the blends, but it has heat embossing on it. That's the whole trick to today's project. And I saw this online on Pinterest. Heather Klump from hlkdownstairsdesigns. She made a card like this using evening evergreen rather than the basic gray, and it's beautiful. So I asked her, how did you do that? How did you color with the blends but have it with the gold embossing powder? And she told me, and I'll show you today. But Heather, thanks for sharing. I love it. Kept the inside a little bit simple, but I'll do the same technique on the inside. Okay, so we'll be using Beautifully Happy, which is a celebration stamp set. And then also Blessings of Home, mostly for these words over here. You are a real blessing to everyone around you. I used up here Sending Happy Thoughts from Beautifully Happy, right here. But I think it's a little bit too small. I do want your eye to go to this, but I want to try some different words today. So this is going to be for my February thank you card. So anyone who put in an order, placed an order of $50 or more in February, I'd love to send you this thank you. And here's a host code for February orders. Okay, you ready to get started? Just a minute. Okay, so we're going to stamp on this paper. This is just a quarter sheet, and we'll do some stamping on here. Here's the base paper, just a little bit for the inside. So let's start with stamping the flower on here. And Stamparatus is key to this project. Gotta love Stamparatus. So when I use Stamparatus, I like to put a stamp pad or stamp set under here, just so it's, if you don't, it's like a diving board, a little bit bouncy, but if you do, it's easy to ink. I see a little fuzzy on here. Not sure how that happened. Okay, so first I'm going to stamp it in Memento. And I have to admit, I started this video, I was almost done, I think it was 20 minutes into it, and I ran out of iPad storage is full. I'm like, you've got to be kidding. So, starting it again. So I have a few pieces already done. But you're not missing anything. I'll show you this part, which is the fun part of this little design technique, this card. Good thing about Stamparatus is if I don't get a good coverage, I could just stamp it again. So I notice in here it's a little bit light. Can put more ink on it, but that's fine for what we're doing today. Only because after I get done coloring all this in, over the top I'm going to put the gold embossing powder, which I know will fill in these light areas. Okay, Stamparatus. So I'm going to do just a little bit of this, and then it's going to magically become done. So I'm using Granny Apple Green, which is my favorite. So Granny Apple Dark. I'm going to kind of do the outline and the leaf veins. And this time I'm not going to take too much time to do a lot of blending. Sometimes I just like it to be, like I want you to see, yeah, I did two colors on there. One color. I'll go back and blend it a little bit. But sometimes I could spend a long time blending. And oh, I love these markers. I could get it good. Okay, so doing all the leaves. Then for the pinks, I have Mellow Mambo Dark and Polished Pink Dark. You're like, what's up with that? I don't have a Polished Pink Light. And the color is about to go away. It's going to go away in early May. So I think I have one of them out in my traveling box of markers, but that's okay. I'm going to make this work. So just a little bit. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do all of it. I do just part of the flower. And fill it in the rest of the way with polished pink dark. I'm going to use that polished pink ribbon. Okay, coloring all around, but wait, let me show you one more thing, which is dark smoky slate. Okay, so where do you guess? Where is it going? There's nothing that has to do with smoky slate dark. It is going around the outside edge of all these. I got you curious? Are you wondering? What's that all about? Why would you do that? Because if I cut this out right now, you would see a white line all the way around. A nice white border, which sometimes is great. This time, no. So go around the whole thing with smoky slate dark. Because smoky slate dark, isn't that very similar to this? You're like, wait a minute, let me see that card. See that smoky slate dark right there outside of the green leaf? It makes it blend in so all you really see is the flower, the green and the pink. Yeah. Okay, so I'm cutting all this out. Doo, 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 doo. Look at that. And this time, I wasn't so fussy about all the cutting, because last time I came way down into here, which is great. But check this out. When I put it on there, you don't really see it because it just looks like the background. And those flowers, they are just popping out and shining. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and check out these rhinestones. Let's do that. Those I'm going to use black, light basic black. And of course I did them before, but I'm going to show you how to do them. See these down here, how they look darker? See these on here, how they look darker? We're just going to color them. Blends, you could do that. So I'm purposely going to use the brush tip. I'm going to do 5 of them. I'm going to go over the top and on the side. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then turn it over and do the same thing. And when I'm coloring it, I'm kind of wrapping around the sides, but I'm trying not to get the glue dot underneath it because this is blends are alcohol markers. The alcohol in the marker will dissolve the glue dot underneath the rhinestone. So if you just do your best to avoid that, it works out perfectly. And we'll put these on in just a minute. Okay, so let's do the card inside, which is really simple. Just this one little flower, and we'll do the whole process on that one. Come here, Stamparatus. And little flower, little bit of prop, and memento. That'll do. We'll come back to this in a minute. So, colored in memento. So, it's time to do a little bit more coloring. Granny apple. So today, 9 o'clock, I don't know where this came from, but I decided those baggies that I always reach for to put little pieces in, why are they way over there and up high and I have to do like a major stretch? shouldn't they be close by? And the things that are close by, I don't use those often. For instance, the markers. I love my blends, but I don't use my regular markers. Why are those like right there at a handy spot? Why do I have all of my little mementos and my treasures that I want to copy one day? Why are those right there in prime spot? I don't know. So my room became a tornado today. There was stuff everywhere. I was moving the height of shelves. Had Tony in here, help me get these pins out. They're like way over and way up there. Then, of course, when I move stuff around, it's like, well, it first started out just needing a baggie because I put my dies in a baggie, a sandwich baggie. And it's like, why is it way over there? And why do I have bags here, and down there? Bags should all be together. Probably shouldn't be using that many bags. Anyhow, they're all together now. But then along the way, it's like, I need to label, because I have them all in one little box, and I have these dividers. I made dividers out of designer paper, the white chipboard in the back. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to organize bags? So I had them all setting out there, and I noticed that I was kind of grouping them by how big, how wide they were. So like, okay, that's what I do. So I made a 1-inch little label. Oh yeah, then I had to pull out my label maker. Where was my label maker? Right over here in the little turntable thing, because it's a corner of the room. Way in the back. Why is it back there? I use the label maker all the time. Guess what? It is in the cabinet right over there. And there's a shelf here and a shelf here, and it perfectly fits in there. I mean, that label maker, that deserves its own spot. It has its own spot right now. My bags, don't know why I use them so much, but they have their own spot, and it's close by. It's a good thing, but it was a little crazy. Embossing buddy is important, because if there's any moisture left in the alcohol ink or in the memento, the gold is going to stick to that. So we have to make sure to do embossing buddy. Okay, Stamparatus, come on back over here. Stamparatus, little prop. Versamark. You're like, what are you doing? Versamark. Okay, right over the top. Oh, I want to put the freckles on it. The freckles. These freckles. Freckles, Versamark. Okay, now into the gold. Emma is here in town trying on her dress for the wedding. The wedding is March 2nd. It's like, it's right around the corner. It's happening. Okay, we've got us some good pieces here. So this just gets stuck to the inside. That's all that's to that. Simple on the inside this time. I was using my Stampin' Seal to make my dividers for, oh, it's a mess, for my bags. I can't believe I'm organizing bags, but I use them. Okay. A few of you keep saying, when are you going to do a stamp room tour? Maybe I'm getting close. Maybe that's why it just hit me that I needed to do that. I don't know, but I'll show you. I'll show you them. Some people do Facebook Live, and maybe I could do that so it's a little bit interactive. So you could say, what's in there? What's that? Okay, let's see how this comes out. Okay, that's pretty. Can you see it? How about Versamark? See here in the background? The stamp. Did you know, you probably did know, that Versamark is watermark. I think it even says on here, watermark stamp. So, just about any paper you have, if you stamp on it with Versamark, it makes the paper one shade darker where you stamp. So if you're doing it on Melon Mumbo, it'll make it shade darker Melon Mumbo. If you're doing it on Basic Gray, just a little bit darker. It doesn't work on all colors. Black, it almost works. One time I did it and I'm like, oh, you can't see it. And it was a birthday card for a friend and I gave it to her and she's like, oh my gosh, I love that background. I'm like, you can see that? She's like, yeah, look at that. Okay, so if I hold this in the right light, right there, can you see it? The Versamark. When I take a picture and put it on my blog is jillybling.com, I'll make sure that you can see that. Okay, so we're getting there. So this is going to go on here, but we need to get the ribbon on it. The ribbon. I love this ribbon. I love the soft succulent and evergreen. But I think I like any ribbon that's sheer. I just seem to gravitate to that. I like it. So I'm doing just a little piece to wrap around, then I'll put a bow over the top of it. And this is going to go on with dimensionals. I'm purposely going to put them over the areas that the adhesive went a little wonky. Okay, I did excessive adhesive. And because I heat embossed it, got a little warping going on. So I'm just going to use, you know what? I have the number for big and mini. Big ones, 144, 108. And mini. No, 144, 108 is mini. 104, 430 is large. Why do I remember that? My brain remembers all the wrong things. I remember words to songs from my youth. And then if I'm trying to get directions, when somebody says, well, go south here, I'm like, I just, it's like it doesn't click in my head. I remember all the wrong things. including numbers for Stampin' Up! Supplies. The white paper, 159276. Why do I know that? I don't want to know that. I know that. But that's all I know. No more numbers. And no directions, north, south, east, or west. You could tell me by landmarks. Like turn at Taco Bell, then turn at Walmart or whatever. And some people, they're just good at that. Like my husband. He's like, I don't know why that doesn't, why you don't know, why it doesn't stick with you. I don't want to cover up the words. I'll put it way over here. Well, it's going to cover, I'll make the tails short. And I'm going to put one more glue dot under here. Okay. Okay, you just have to move the ribbon tails to read the message. This is an interactive card. Okay. Whoo-wee. Isn't that pretty? I like it. I like pink though. You know, I would say, well, what would be another color that's good? But I want the ribbon to match. So it's like, what would be a pretty ribbon? And I could do it in that color too. You know there's that grape ribbon on clearance rack right now. Isn't that pretty? I really like these words. I think the other one I had it lower. This one, it just wants to be right there. Isn't that pretty? Oh, the bling, the bling, the bling. Can't forget the bling. These almost look blue, like a navy blue. Okay, doing 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. I could keep going. I think I'm going to glue that down. 4, 5. And I'm going to roll this up like a burrito. Okay, that is it for today's card. Isn't that pretty? Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.